The weird thing was I had a skateboard under my bed and I hadn't used my skateboard in forever. And then when I was moving, I grabbed it and there was mold all over my skateboard. That's how bad the mold was. I was like, okay, this is good that I'm finally moving out of this place, and that it's no surprise as to why I would wake up in so much pain because I was breathing in so many mycotoxins.
Hey everybody, my name is Rachael. I'm a holistic health practitioner, and today I'm going to be sharing my story with mold exposure and chronic pain and how I healed my body to regain health and fitness freedom. For many years, I battled chronic health issues, with mold exposure being just one of many contributing factors. I spent a long time uncovering the root causes, such as gut imbalances, hormonal dysfunction, and nervous system dysregulation, and dedicated myself to healing. By late 2023, early 2024, I was thriving. My gut was healthy, my energy levels were high, and I felt strong, capable, and free in my body. But as 2024 progressed, subtle yet persistent changes in my health started creeping in. By mid-year, things took a drastic turn. Fatigue, bloating, lightheadedness, congestion, brain fog, and severe joint pain became daily struggles, sometimes to the point where I struggled to walk. At my worst, I experienced sharp nerve pain shooting down my legs, leaving me completely immobile for minutes at a time. Given my history and experience with it previously, I immediately suspected mold exposure. I had been dealing with recurrent mold issues in my apartment, and the musty smell was undeniable. I didn't even need a test. I would wake up at night from the scent. By September 2024, I had to make the difficult decision to leave my apartment. The process was overwhelming. I had to throw away nearly half of my belongings, meticulously clean what I could, and find a new living situation. Thankfully, I had heard of Microbalance Health products through my sister and had been using their EC3 products to clean away the mold as best as I could while I was living in the toxic apartment. But despite my cleaning efforts and consistent use of a dehumidifier and air purifier, my apartment was a breeding ground for mold because it was humid and musty. No matter how much I cleaned, the mold kept coming back, with pink mold in the shower, black mold around my windows, and fuzzy green and gray mold creeping around my floorboards. It eventually got so bad that people could smell it on my clothes. It was time to let go and get out. During my move, I relied heavily on Microbalance Health products to eliminate mold exposure and prevent future contamination in my new space. I used the EC3 mold spray to clean wooden and leather surfaces along with any salvageable items, making sure to remove lingering mold spores. Anything porous that I couldn't wash or that showed visible mold growth was thrown out. To be extra cautious, I cleaned everything twice, outside in the open air while wearing gloves and a mask. Every single piece of clothing I owned went through multiple washes with the EC3 laundry additive to strip away mycotoxins and the mildew smell. Once I settled into my new home, I burned the EC3 candles regularly to purify the air, ensuring that any remaining mold spores didn't settle into my new space. These products played a huge role in saving some of my belongings and accelerating my healing process. The very first night out of my mold-contaminated environment, I noticed a difference in how my body felt. As the days out of the mold continued, I no longer woke up in debilitating pain, and my energy levels slowly started to return. Now let's dive into healing after mold exposure. So over the next few months, I focused on detoxing and healing my body. I dialed in my nutrition, prioritizing anti-inflammatory diet to support my immune system and reduce my toxic burden. I implemented a mycotoxin elimination protocol, incorporating binders like activated charcoal and bentonite clay to help flush out toxin, along with antifungal tinctures and biofilm disruptors to address lingering mold-related pathogens. To further support my body, I focused on liver and lymphatic drainage using castor oil packs, sauna sessions, liver-loving foods, and dry brushing to help my system process and eliminate toxins efficiently. But healing wasn't just about supplements and detox strategies. I also had to address my nervous system. Chronic illness can be incredibly stressful on the body, and I knew that if I wanted to fully heal, I had to give my body the right conditions to do so. I prioritized sleep, made space for gentle movement, and incorporated breathwork to regulate my nervous system. Even within the first 6 weeks, I felt significantly better. Knowing how to support my body through this process allowed me to recover much faster than most. But as many people facing mold exposure don't have the knowledge or the resources to take action right away, that's why I want to share my experience. To help others recognize the sign, understand how mold impacts weight loss resistance and chronic illness, and take actionable steps towards healing. Let's dive into how mold exposure affects exercise and metabolism. At the height of my mold symptoms, my ability to exercise took a huge hit. My recovery time was prolonged, my endurance plummeted, and I felt significantly weaker. Mycotoxins cause mitochondrial dysfunction, making it harder for the body to produce energy efficiently. Mold exposure also drives systemic inflammation, leading to pain, stiffness, and decreased mobility, all of which make movement incredibly difficult. Exercise, which has always been a crucial part of my routine, now felt impossible. I had to rethink my approach, shifting from intense training to restorative movement. Instead of pushing myself through workouts that left me drained, I focused on consistency rather than intensity. Some days, all I could manage was a 10-minute walk outside or 3 light exercises in the gym, but I knew that even a small amount of movement could support circulation, lymphatic drainage, and detoxification, so I kept moving each day, even if it didn't seem like much. For me, the best forms of movement during recovery included walking, stretching, and light strength training. Walking encouraged lymphatic drainage, stretching helps reduce inflammation, and light muscle contraction supports blood and lymph flow. The key for me was listening to my body and making adjustments as needed. Next, let's dive into the connection between mold, chronic illness, and weight loss resistance. Mold exposure is often overlooked as a root cause of chronic inflammation, hormonal imbalances, and weight loss resistance. Mycotoxins, which are harmful compounds produced by mold, can disrupt detoxification pathways, interfere with gut microbiome balance, and dysregulate the nervous system. Over time, these effects make weight loss incredibly difficult by contributing to inflammation, insulin resistance, and metabolic dysfunction. Many people struggling with unexplained symptoms, including difficulty losing weight, have no idea that mold could be a contributing factor. If you have been experiencing persistent health challenges that don't seem to improve despite diet and lifestyle changes, it may be worth investigating your environment for mold. Now, I want to share a word for renters to help protect yourself from mold exposure. If you suspect mold in your rental home, taking immediate action is crucial for your health. Unfortunately, not all landlords take mold issues seriously, so it's important to advocate for yourself and understand your rights. First, make sure that you document everything, taking photos, keeping record of your symptoms, and report the issue in writing rather than relying on phone calls. If your landlord refuses to act, check your local tenant laws, consider hiring a professional mold inspector, and if necessary, seek legal advice. If mold exposure is making you sick and your landlord won't address the issue, prioritizing your health may mean breaking your lease and moving out. Now, I want to share how I prevent mold growth in my new home. After experiencing firsthand how devastating mold exposure can be, I knew I had to take extra precautions in my new living space to prevent mold from ever becoming an issue again. Now I have a system in place to ensure my home stays mold-free. First, I continue using the mold spray regularly to wipe down surfaces that could collect moisture, such as bathroom tiles, window sills, and air vents. Even though I can't see the mold, I know that mold spores are microscopic and can linger on the surfaces, so I stay consistent with my cleaning routine. Again, even if you can't see it, doesn't mean it's not there. I also burn EC3 air purification candles several times a week. These candles help eliminate airborne mold spores, making a huge difference in air quality, especially after rainy or humid days. In addition to microbalance products, I run a high-quality air purifier with a HEPA filter to capture mold spores, dust, and other airborne toxins. This helps keep my indoor air as clean as possible, reducing the likelihood of more mold spores taking hold and multiplying. Finally, I stay mindful of humidity levels. My new living space, however, is quite dry, so I don't use a humidifier, but if your humidity is over 50%, I highly recommend using a dehumidifier because mold thrives in damp environments. So keeping humidity in check is one of the best preventative measures. These simple but powerful steps have given me peace of mind knowing that I'm taking proactive measures to protect my health and prevent mold-related crisis. Now, I want to share a final message of hope. If you're struggling with unexplained symptoms, weight loss resistance, or chronic inflammation, know that you are not alone and that recovery is possible. Mold exposure is a tough health battle to face, but taking action will change everything. By identifying the root cause, removing exposure, and supporting my body's natural detoxification process, I was able to regain my energy, eliminate pain, and feel like myself again. Healing from mold exposure can feel overwhelming, but every step you take toward eliminating exposure and supporting your body's detox pathways will bring you closer to health. If you suspect mold is impacting you, don't wait. Start addressing it today. Your body is incredibly resilient, and with the right support, healing is absolutely possible.
If you need support or are interested in learning more, you can contact me on Instagram at healthbyrachael. My name is spelled Rachael, or you can visit my website at www.rachels.fitness.
Check the notes to watch the live I did on this topic and to read the article.